Welcome to the Apostates, everybody. I am back with a very infrequent guest, that being Eric.
Hey, that's right. Don't adjust your monitors.
I assume you're here because there is a lot to talk about regarding the NCAA.
Yeah, tons to talk about. How about the first overall pick by the WNBA draft? Probably going to need a part-time job on the side. Like, are you kidding me? Like with that contract?
I cannot believe with the money the league makes.
Right.
I want to know
no, go ahead.
what. Look, I just want to know what the team owners are making, because there is absolutely no excuse for first round draft picks to be making $76,000 a year.
I know strippers that make more. I know adult industry professionals that make more. Caitlin got I understand that people keep saying, oh, the WNBA isn't profitable.
It's profitable. It wouldn't exist
money.
if it weren't profitable.
NBA, they have that NBA brand.
People bet on that shit too. I'm gonna tell you that right now. People bet on women's sports too. Yes, I think honestly, if betting houses wanted to really see some money, we need to start opening up the betting on the drag competitions. Betting on drag competitions.
Throw me a line. I'll place a wager.
Yeah. See, he would totally put wagers on Drag Race. Bitch, he might even put some on Dragula if you give him time.
You give me time. You give me a way to read up on these competitions. I will be in. I'm in.
Drag is just wrestling with the violence being off stage.
I'm good with that too. Look, man, you got to understand. I am on my other show, Football Smack Talk show. We like to say it's unofficially sponsored by 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER for all you gamblerholics out there.
I don't even know I don't even know what to say to that in my professional and licensed opinion. I don't even know what I can say to that in my professional and licensed opinion.
All I will say is do not take out loans or put gambling bets on credit cards, because Pennsylvania.
I'll find out and Ren will find out. We'll find out.
Pennsylvania allows 6% interest on debt judgments. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
So just pay cash. And if you don't got cash, you don't bet.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
you don't wager.
Yeah, listen. Listen, if you can't do it live, should you really be doing it? Personally, I feel like if you can't roll up to the window and put the money down and not cry as you do it, you should not be doing it.
I put the money on DraftKings, and in my mind, as soon as I put that money in there, that money is gone.
It's gone.
It is spent.
It's gone. It is spent.
Yeah, this is just my entertainment.
It's gone.
Yeah, basically, yes. I do often want to tell people, listen, you put how much in? Just kiss that money goodbye, baby.
Yeah.
Even if you win, kiss it goodbye.
Back.
You're not getting it back.
I am at least hopeful that Caitlin Clark won't disappear since
number one rule in gambling: house always wins.
One way or another, we do.
Because I mean, if they fully commingled and allowed co-ed NBA, she would just disappear. Because who watches the NBA?
I mean, sometimes people watch it. I mean,
1-800-GAMBLER.
I mean, people watch it. It was something interesting to do when we were on lockdown. The social media was
It was
the
fun.
Social media was popping. I will tell you right now, nobody was doing it like the NBA during the pandemic.
A reality show about the bubble. That's what it was.
Jimmy
Exactly.
Butler and Rachel
That shit
Nichols in
was
the bubble,
live.
they were having some fun.
It was lit. Listen, the bubble was something else. And the fact that it took the pandemic for the NBA to be exciting.
Well, you
Let's
have to
move
understand, we
sports a
went
little
through
bit.
4 months of no sports. Like, dude, seriously, and think about that. At the beginning of the pandemic, like, not to get too real with everybody, I lost my dad, and then I had no sports for 4 months. So the one thing that would have always been my outlet to go to was also taken away during the time I needed it the most.
There is a
Yeah.
really there is a really horrible period of time of like 2 weeks normally in between the end of hockey and the beginning of hockey. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I'm just
No,
saying
it
the
was
playoff best
clever.
for
Like,
fucking ever.
it's funny you mentioned that. Tonight, the Flyers have a whole thing going.
I see where you were going. I'm just annoyed by Rangers fans.
Yeah, congratulations, Rangers. I'm sorry. I can't even get that out as a joke.
Listen, I don't like the Rangers. I don't give a fuck about the Rangers. I'm just still on the fact that I don't know what ancient divinity I need to bribe.
Look,
or
I am
the Panthers to be
forever
viable.
I'm forever a Bruins fan just because of the name Bruins. It's a funny name.
It's a name for a bear.
Bruins.
It's a name for a bear.
It doesn't matter how drunk you are,
Yeah.
you can always say Bruins.
Okay, that sounds like that was that. Now that you've given me that etymology for Bruins, now I'm just like, well, then that's why Boston rolled with it. Because I mean because then you got some drunk
that's why
Southie and he'll be able.
that name. Yeah.
Yeah, because then no matter how drunk a Southie is, he can say it. So I mean, okay, I get it. Bruins, Pats, Celtics.
Are you trying to say us Irishmen are all drunks? I mean, I resemble it, but
I mean, listen, there's enough of us with with DNA from the Irish introduced, whether consensually or not consensually, that maybe we can make that judgment. Sorry.
I mean, that sounds right. I'm rolling with it. I'm here for it.
I mean, listen, I'm Jamaican American. I believe I legally have the right to make that joke. I believe I legally have a right to make that joke. And even if I was African American, I probably have even more right to make that joke. Just saying. I know, that was painful.
Yeah, because that probably means it wasn't consensual.
That shit was painful.
I'm kind of glad I found out that I'm less Irish than I thought I was.
Oh, that must be nice. But are you more Italian than you thought you were?
No, I'm exactly as Italian as I thought I was. But the part that I thought was half Irish turned out to be half Scottish, a quarter Irish, and a quarter English.
This changes. I'm sorry for me. This changes nothing. How many? Listen,
you're a European nut, just like me. Gotcha.
Yeah, listen. You open a phone book in Kingston, it's gonna be nothing but Campbell's, Macintoshes, and Fitzgerald. So where are we going with this? Where are we going, Boo Boo? Where are we going?
There's a whole town of words too.
To the bar.
That part.
Yeah, where else?
We are absolutely going to the bar. You are absolutely, even though I don't even, no one in Jamaica drinks Red Stripe. I will still order a Red Stripe and pretend to like it.
Hooray, Red Stripe. Hooray.
Now, before we move on to serious topics, now that we're talking sports, I just have to ask you a serious question, Eric. I'm not kidding. Yeah. I don't understand what the Flyers need to do. I don't understand how this works.
Okay, so the way hockey does their they do points instead of just wins and losses, and so each win is worth 2 points. And if you go to end of regulation tied to the end of the third period, each team gets a point. and then like they fight it out for that last point in overtime, and then a possible shootout. So what the Flyers need, they need to win in regulation because they can't let Washington get another point.
Wait,
And
is that horrible Russian still playing for the Capitals?
yeah.
Oh, they're fucked.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Ovechkin's still there. Yeah.
Fuck that man.
I'm with you.
Fuck Ovechkin. Fuck that man. Fuck everything he stands for.
I'm with you, man. The Flyers are playing.
Sorry,
I can't.
I still can't believe people skate close to it. I'm sure if they skate close enough to him, they can smell Putin's taint.
You may as well.
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but
you may as well have been describing physics to me. I like.
Well, the part that I'll explain is this: Ovechkin. He tries to act like his love of Putin is forced, but there's a little bit too much tongue in the kiss for me to believe that shit. That whole Putin, he had a whole fake Putin team bullshit thing where we were like, oh, people say it's not cool to love Putin, but we think it's cool. And I'm like, just say you hate gay people and love money. God damn.
Well, yeah, that was Provorov for the former Flyer who basically wouldn't participate in anything.
Pride Night. They a minute they tried not to do Pride Night, but I'm like, watch that go to hell. People, I'm like, there are too many angry lesbians.
Will flip out. Yeah.
There are too many angry lesbians, and you put in the entire Seattle Kraken with an openly non-binary mascot. Bitch, is you serious? And y'all got fucking Gritty. Gritty is like the most left-wing progressive thing that y'all ever came up with.
Oh,
y'all know
Gritty is special now. He is special.
Gritty is basically a communist, and I live for it. And I don't even like communists that much. Gritty is basically a communist. Maybe he's an anarcho-communist.
And Eric and I remember very well the unveiling of Gritty and how for the
y'all hated
24 hours, everyone in Philadelphia was like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
And
then the Flyers didn't want to have a mascot, and the NHL forced them to. So they said, "We will give you the most screwed up mascot you've ever seen."
But the second someone from outside of our state said fuck all about Gritty, we circled the wagons and we're like,
oh yeah, dude, it was just like, no, you don't come at Gritty, we come at Gritty. Y'all like
Gritty is our problem, not your problem.
Yes,
this our John. This is ours.
It's like the Bundys. They treat each other like shit, but the second a threat comes for the Bundy family, they turn
it to Voltron and it's over. But yeah, y'all just decided the moment Trump started talking shit about Philly, we were like, oh no, it's on. And then Gritty just became this weirdly violently adorable left wing. Jewish socialists started painting him punching Hitler.
Though, adorably violent.
Like they started painting Gritty punching Hitler.
Then
adorably violent. It was like the progressive Jews on Twitter were like, no, he's one of us. Thank you.
Well, there needs to be a Gritty holiday season. All right, everybody, let's take out the greased up lamppost in the living room.
Basically, like,
yes.
Like,
oh my God,
Flyers leadership just tried to act like all of a sudden the people of Philadelphia turned out of the goodness of their hearts. No, the people of Philadelphia decided to accept this odd Lovecraftian abomination because people kept shitting on it. And
Philadelphia
this is the same city that once broke Hitchbot. You're welcome, America. That Canadian war machine.
Yeah, y'all broke a friendly ass robot. Y'all had somebody that ate.
That was a Canadian war machine. We all know that. Come on now.
Y'all had somebody that ate horse shit to celebrate winning the Super Bowl. What is wrong with y'all?
We hadn't had any practice. We didn't know what to do.
And and
just
again,
felt right.
I know I've said it
Nobody in
before.
Miami is gonna do that. We are not gonna eat horse shit. There might be somebody who might end up with like might do a full body snort of cocaine. In the middle
they'll probably end up getting eaten by an alligator later. What's the big deal?
I'm not at you. Yeah, that's actually true.
Philadelphia
might get
ketamine. You know.
Yeah, Philadelphia, y'all do the ketamine. That's why Elon Musk has a weird love-hate relationship with you. At least in Miami, like I said, we try to maintain our cool. We have cornered we've managed to keep our market as a city of cool drug addicts. Now, not as cool as New York, but
see, look, the Eagles had won the first Super Bowl in their franchise's history. There was no keeping our cool that night.
And by the way, I know we've said it before, but Philadelphia had the best Kelsey.
Absolutely.
You know what? I mean,
nope.
I will give
with Thomas in Buffalo.
I mean,
I'm not letting you. I mean this.
I don't know. Like, I need to look at you.
Nope. This is.
You know what? I will say this. At least, listen. I will say that taking Taylor Swift to a strip mall sushi joint is not something Jason Kelsey would have done.
You don't know. I mean, Jason Kelsey.
He did pass out on his first date with Kylie.
He what?
He literally passed out on his first date. Yes. He was fall down drunk that night. My man was getting after
I need to talk to that woman.
So let's move on. I tried.
Yeah, because I'm gonna just be.
That's a great segue point. Yeah.
Yeah, because the fall down drunk fall. Well, you know what? I'm gonna let that go, especially considering about Donald Trump's conduct in court.
Yes, we are going to talk about Donald Trump's criminal trial. I mean, he's got a lot of trials going down, but I do like to talk about his criminal trial in
the one that he actually has to show up. I was
going to say, can we narrow it down?
I love that someone did the detective work and found out when he said that he would like to have it be excused from attending the trial so he can go to his fifth child's high school graduation. Someone did the work and found out that he did not attend any of his four other kids' high school graduations.
Somehow, I believe that without knowing this,
wanted to get it right.
Somehow I believe without knowing this, the judge knew that. I believe it's one of those things that you don't know that you know, but you know anyway. Like, if you'd have told me fresh off the street 24 hours ago, I'd have been like, I bet someone had asked me an opinion, I'd be like, I bet he ain't never been to a single thing that any of them children done, not even Ivanka. Because her graduating from high school meant that she was legal and that she could now have a legal reason to fight him off in the middle of the night.
Well,
I said what I said. I said what I said.
Look, no one's going to argue.
No, I'm not arguing. Yeah, no.
It's sort of like when, someone drops the turd of truth in the middle of the living room and you go, oh my God, that's a turd, but it is the turd of truth.
Listen, at this point, I have become...
Hey, baby, did you shit on my floor?
At this point, I have become Reagan at the astronauts' party.
Okay.
I don't know that reference.
Huh?
I don't know that reference.
There's a scene in The Exorcist where during a party, she goes up to an astronaut and says, "You're going to die." And then she pisses herself.
Okay. I've never seen The Exorcist.
What?
Wow, really?
Hold on. Let me. Mm-mm.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to take another drink.
I am sober this evening.
Well, actually, I am too. That's just lemonade.
I am not.
I feel like I am being judged And
I'm not judging you.
You're just probably the biggest film buff I know.
I'm just
other than maybe Mark
concerned.
Kelly.
look, we're all.
But did you read the book?
No.
Oh, now I truly am concerned. Because
Well,
I would have been like, "Oh, you read the book." If you said, "Yeah, I read the book," I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah." I definitely would be like, "Oh, you read the book. Never mind."
look, there are only so many movies that a
I feel
person.
like everybody has that one movie that it's like that someone will be like, "Wait, what? You haven't seen that?"
Seen it? Exactly.
What I found is more controversial is like certain movies you're not allowed to say that you hate, like
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Grease.
I mean, that's the those two are of the theater kid litany. Like, are you really even a theater kid if you have not watched these, or are you even a theater kid if you at least have a moderately positive opinion? Like Grease, for me as a Black person, Grease is awkward.
Well,
It just is.
The main thing is about conforming. I mean, like,
yeah, and
conformed at the end. Like, that's so stupid.
And then Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I kind of like, but I kind of don't care because as universal as John, as universal as John Hughes's films are, people do point out the overwhelming whiteness of them all, considering it was the 80s. And I'm like, well, it was the 80s.
Yeah.
This is life in a white flight suburb, sir.
Yeah, I mean, like his movies were shot in suburban Chicago. These were sundown towns. I mean, like this is not hard.
Yeah, it's like finally Molly Ringwald actually acknowledged that in public, and I'm like, good. Can we finally take the timeless label off these films? Then I think we can. Let's put it like they're okay. Let's put it like this: the fact that John Carpenter made the most diverse horror film in the 80s, and I haven't seen anything more diverse than that cast.
Not The Thing, right?
No, not The Thing. It was the one that took place in the LA church.
Oh, it's killing me. It's killing me. It's part of his Apocalypse trilogy.
It's a part of his Apocalypse trilogy. Yeah. Let's remember
the freaking name. Oh. It's not the one with Sam Neill, right?
Nope. There we go. Let's see. The Apocalypse trilogy.
Is it Prince of Darkness?
I believe it's Prince. Yes, it's Prince of Darkness.
Why couldn't I? Oh, God.
It's one of those. It's because it's not an actual linear trilogy. Most people don't immediately think about it as.
I love thematic trilogies. I think.
Yeah.
Me and the Cornetto trilogy are, that's like just the best thematic trilogy ever made.
But yeah, I well, let's be honest. The Prince of Darkness is one of the most diverse casts, and that's saying something.
I love that Wes Craven made one of the best, like, sort of socially conscious horror movies of that era in The People Under the Stairs. And
that is, I think that and The Wiz, I think if you ask a lot of Black millennials who are into horror, I think those are kind of foundational films. That, and I think People Under the Stairs, The Wiz, Candyman, I think those are going to be the ones that that tend to come up. I think also in Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
That's another one I haven't seen, and I know.
Love them. Oh, I know. That's a good one.
That one I'm gonna let go because a lot of people were emotionally exhausted. I get it.
The only Nightmare on Elm Street movies I've seen are the first one, and for some reason, Part 4. The one where
Did
the
you see
Goo Goo Dolls did the soundtrack.
Did you see the gay ass one?
Nope. I know about it, but I haven't seen it.
How you not seen the
Gay
gay ass
ass one.
one?
Which one was the gay ass one?
Part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah.
How you not seen?
Oh yeah, part 2
That's
was
like-
awful.
I mean, I watched it because gay.
I have something inside of me that needs to. I know all the memes and stuff.
Yeah, it's like you, like, sir, man, sis, you have something inside. We all do, honey.
We need to get back on topic.
Hey, listen, that man wanders off topic. It's just, I think what happens is his brain reboots, fails the reboot, and he's like, okay, who do I talk about hating now?
I do love the moment where he's like having his little speech, and then he does this thing where it's like lots of, and just like has that moment where
That's the dementia, baby. That's the dementia.
I just want to look. Is he having a stroke? Like,
I don't think. Like,
is he having a stroke or am I having a stroke? That's like,
I don't think he's having a stroke.
Somebody is.
I just think that he honestly is just dealing with some severe ass dementia, and they need to just up his Abilify or something. Abilify, maybe less of what he was taking during the courtroom the first day where he was falling. Like, I'm like, did they put him on a ride on the van? As in Ativan? Like, Ativan? Like, was somebody just saying Ativan? Just give him like Lipo and call it a day. Like, man was...
Just throw the pills at him.
Just throw the pills at him. He'll think it's from Ronnie. No one will know the difference.
Donald, time to take your pills.
Like I said, I think they have him more bombed out. They have him more bombed out than Gaza.
Oh.
We will get to that.
I said it. I'm not even proud. Do you see me not being proud of myself? I wasn't proud of that one.
Look, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Like,
I do want to contain that discussion in a linear way.
In a linear fashion. But like I said, I mean, he already went off on a prospective juror. I'm like, I would just hate to be a juror. I'm glad that.
Yeah, I just
my
saw
involvement in
out and I didn't see what it was, but apparently he was reprimanded for talking in the direction of a juror. But I didn't see
with the history of behavior he's had. Honestly,
I'm surprised.
Anybody else would be in jail. In Rikers. Like the rest of this time, like Mans would be in orange. And I don't mean his skin or whatever, or I don't mean his skin with whatever weird dollar store foundation they slather on him every day. I'm guessing his regular tanners his original tanners are no longer getting paid. The RNC don't have it in the budget anymore.
I think they don't use that
with everything he's done and on camera.
Yeah,
with everything he's done and on camera and documented, he's going to spend less time in Rikers than Khalif Browder. Like, that's the ultimate thing about it. Like, he has actual documented crimes, and he's going to spend less time than people in pretrial detention who can't afford bail. Like, that's
I'm just thinking about Khalif Browder. They had that boy in there for 4 fucking years. That boy was out of prison for maybe a year and a half, 2 years before he decided to self-exit.
Yeah. Well, I used him as a I used him.
I know, and that's a fair reference because that man was in Rikers for 4 years, and Rikers should have been in federal receivership ages ago.
I didn't bring it up just to specifically make a point about him, but just to say that, you've got people who spend years of pretrial detention with no convictions because they can't afford bail.
And barely
this guy is racking up contempt charges like nobody's business.
Yeah, but I can understand also
a day behind bars.
And the thing is, what I understand is they're going to give his lawyers as much thing to not. They're like, we can't seem prejudiced so that way this can seem airtight in case.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I understand it. It pisses me off, but I understand why they're giving him this much rope.
I'm not
No,
even sure
I
that we'll
mean,
get a conviction because, I mean, this isn't a bench trial, and he's such
It's
a
not.
highly polarized, well-known individual. People
Yeah,
have
and the
a lot of
fact that
strong opinions, and you're going to be hard-pressed to find people who don't know about
I
him.
don't think they're looking for don't know. They're looking for
right.
people who don't have opinions or could be swayed. Now, that's the thing.
Right.
It's like, can you hate him and like think about the that's the same thing people were saying about the E. Jean Carroll trial. They were saying, oh, how are we going to find people that have never heard of him? How are we going to find people with
lower evidentiary standard, though?
That is true. That was a civil trial.
Yeah.
So as a result, you could find people who voted for him and be like, nah, he actually did that. I mean, I'm still going to vote for him, but he actually did do that shit.
Like, I am willing to keep an open mind and say, regardless of the fact that I know he's guilty, but that prosecution damn well better prove its case.
Yeah, in
that
other
would be
words,
my
I
attitude
can't
too.
just
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't prosecute him based on my knowledge of the case. I have to prosecute him based on your knowledge of the case. You better bring it.
Right.
You better come
knowledge is
correct.
presented to
And
you.
I think
Yeah.
and I think that's actually what the Black community was trying to tell the LA prosecutors during the OJ Simpson trial, because think about the fact that now once he's dead, you found out that all your Black friends were like, oh no, he did that shit. What are you talking about?
I know, right?
Everybody knew he did it. I think it's a matter of the fact that if the LAPD weren't so racist, and didn't try to plant evidence on an obvious person, he would have been convicted. If there weren't prosecutorial or police misconduct, he would have been convicted. That is like,
in other words, they
Yeah.
found him guilty because they were pissed that they went through the effort of framing a guilty man. They went through the effort of framing a guilty man. Why the fuck did you do that? Why did you think we were so stupid that we wouldn't know? We know who the LAPD is. We know who men are like Mark Furman are. We know them. So let's put it like this. I noticed the jurors, not a single one had a bad thing to say about Ron Shipp.
Sure.
Because they knew. They knew he was like this. Because I'm sure they felt bad for Ron Shipp. Like, oh, he should have known, but well, he knows now. So for me, it's more like they didn't find him guilty because they were stupid. No, they didn't find him guilty because it was apparent that the prosecution was leaning on a racist police department to frame a guilty man.
It's one of those things where the just evidence that the police tried to frame a guy, even if he's obviously guilty, creates a reasonable doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And once you have a reasonable doubt, you can't convict. Period. And a lack of a conviction isn't an exoneration.
Exactly. Like I've said, I've lost count telling
trial. Yeah.
I've lost count telling white people, listen, Trump is innocent like OJ is innocent. Deal with that. Argue with your moms. Argue with your moms. Don't argue with me. Trump is innocent the way OJ is innocent. In other words,
OJ,
if you ask
the only guy who fought cancer and we rooted for cancer.
I mean, I felt bad for cancer.
He had a tough fight on his hands.
I know.
I just think, there are a lot of horrible abusers out in this universe. And I think what drove me nuts about OJ Simpson is that his abuse was so well documented.
Facts.
And the fact is that the LAPD still had to try and railroad
him,
despite the fact that he was so obviously guilty. I mean, it's just one of those. I resent the LAPD. I resent OJ. I resent the whole world for the spectacle it became. Yeah. And I just think that I hope somehow Ron Goldman's father still gets a piece of that estate. even though OJ worked his hardest to try to shield the estate.
He really did. Some people have also said that that Ron, and I kind of hope he gets it, even though the rumor is that Ron Goldman may have been queer, may have been bisexual, and that is why he and his father didn't get along. But that's not even an issue. But it's just, you're sitting there like, I'm like, if only we knew then what we know now, we could have just thrown a hate crime at it too. But you know, I would have been like, listen, I'm here.
Interestingly, I mean, it does bring up a certain aspect of the fact that Donald Trump once again defamed E. Jean Carroll recently.
Like, if nothing else,
do him again and again and again. Just keep doing it.
If nothing else, that woman gonna drain him harder than most femdoms ever could drain any man. I'm sorry. Like, at this point, I hope she has a weird little inside joke with her lawyers that she can just press that the speed button on her phone is labeled ATM guys or ATM repairmen. I'm hoping there's an inside joke between her and her lawyers by now. I'm thinking there should be by now.
Well, I mean,
I wonder what their safe word is.
I wonder if, like I said, I'm assuming she and E. Jean Carroll talks to her lawyer. I'm assuming she talks to them every day. And they probably don't even charge her anymore.
Well, punitive damages are extremely hard to get. And I don't know New York's laws regarding punitive damages, but generally, you know, in a lot of places, you're limited to compensatory damages. And even if punitive damages are available, there is a certain level of egregiousness you have to get past to get that. It is very clear that if someone has already, now again, I don't know what New York's laws are, but if they are allowed for punitive damages, like, this is where you hit him with it. Because if he has already been found liable twice and he keeps doing it, this is what punitive damages were made for.
This is where I would probably at this point bribe or suck my way into U of M's law library to find out for sure.
I mean, it's a Google search. I'm just not.
Let me have this.
You just want to suck your way into a building. Like,
I go for it,
you don't
but
have
I mean,
to have an excuse. I mean, if it helps to have the excuse, it helps to have.
Of course it does.
Sure,
I mean, it's like I did this.
Look,
that way.
This is the 20s. If we want to suck our way into buildings, we can suck our way into buildings. We don't have to put a sheen around it and say like, "Oh, it is for this noble purpose." No, if you want to suck, you suck.
It's more like I'm doing a podcast.
I'm doing this for my listeners. Damn it.
Why am I like this?
Because we were born at a time when everything was bleak, and 9/11 happened when we were all young, and then so too did the.
Not as young as I'd like to think, but yeah.
And we need really dark and absurd humor to help us get through every single iota of a day. And when someone tries to tell us, "Oh my God, that's too much," or "That's problematic," you say, "Shut the fuck up. You don't know how dark my life is. I need this."
You don't know what I've been through, man. You ain't seen what I've seen.
I don't know if you've probably seen Mandatory Fun. He's an active duty military humorist on the Instagrams. He's talking about, I want to live in precedented times. I'm tired of living in times where new shit is happening. I'm like, I don't know if I want to tell him, like, when he says I want to live in precedented times, what times is he hoping to precedent from? Because I have a feeling if I were to dig into like Roman history or ancient Chinese history, this shit happened before.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry, honey. This is actually precedented times. Are we talking? You got to narrow it down when you say precedented. Like, you got to be able to say precedent within my lifetime. Okay, then what do you want? Are we looking for the Clinton years again?
It reminds
me
of how Margaret Atwood said about The Handmaid's Tale. Like, this is all stuff that has happened to people.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry. It's like, yes, when women started wearing the handmaids, and I'm like, me and my bestie did talk about getting our own handmaid's outfit, but we were going to make it awesome. In other words, we were going to take red pieces of random red fabric and sew them together rather than making a single piece of fabric, a patch together, because that's probably what a handmaiden of color would have to do. So just to make white women uncomfortable in public, because hey, what's a protest if you what's a protest, what's an intersectional protest without making white women uncomfortable?
If you can't make people uncomfortable, then like what are we even doing here?
Exactly. Why are we not why am I
mean,
Look, you're talking to somebody who I just love watching everybody squirm. Like I know I've told you this story, Ren, about how I have a couple aunts who are on absolute opposite ends of the political spectrum.
Oh, this is
And
gonna be good.
it tickles me to death, like no other, to go to one and just all of a sudden take one point of view with them and get them all fired up, then go over to the other one and take the complete opposite point of view with them.
you're an instigator.
What? Yes.
100%.
Yes. Where is the instigator gif? I needs it right now because honestly, you just out here.
Yeah.
You just like me. On the other hand, I just simply like to wait for things to happen and then remind my brother who voted for Trump both times. Remember,
it's like that. It's like that scene in Titus where he's having the flashback, and Titus is about to put the coin in the electrical socket, and his mom goes, "Oh no, Chris, don't do it." And then his dad goes, "No, wait. Well, go ahead, son."
Or yeah, and this is how my dad would be like, "That'll learn you." Yeah. Nothing like dads and that'll learn you. You know, the moment your dad said that'll learn you after something, you probably fucked up. But you're at least not gonna get spanked for it. But what's gonna happen to you will probably be a lot worse.
So you guys don't know, I played baseball in high school. I was a pitcher, and anytime any pitcher's ever thrown a pitch and hit a hitter, I heard my dad say my very first pitch, I hit the dude. Very first pitch. And I just heard my dad say, "Well, that'll teach him, or that'll learn him." And so now I cannot possibly see a hit batsman without saying that'll learn him.
I'm firmly convinced that'll learn him is in the dad lexicon.
Yes.
Because
this is kind of ironic because I used to play baseball, and anytime a player was hit with a pitch, I was that player.
I'm sorry.
I may have hit you. Sorry about that. I did actually learn to develop some control after that first pitch.
So while we have a little bit of time left, because I've got to do a hard exit at 9. But while we have a little bit of time left, I do want to talk about Iran's missile launch.
Iran tried it. I
think specifically, I saw that Senator John Kennedy got on TV.
And fake Senator John Kennedy?
Yeah, the Rhodes Scholar.
Who talks like Foghorn Leghorn and like tries to convince us he's just a dumbass rube, when in reality he's just yet another mouth on the teat of the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah,
that guy.
He was on TV and basically sounded the alarm that this launch by Iran was a serious sign of weakness of the Biden administration, and crucially, John Hagee. If any of you remember John Hagee, he was John McCain.
Yeah.
He used to work with John McCain. He had said,
Isn't John Hagee?
Yeah.
As in Reverend John Hagee?
Yeah, Reverend John Hagee.
Mm-hmm.
As in, I cannot wait for somebody to beat his ass at the gates of heaven, John Hagee?
Yeah, he's still alive, unfortunately.
God.
But he was also at an event and said that this, shows a sign of weakness in Biden. And specifically, he said that, you would never see this under Reagan. And, I immediately thought, John, Reagan put a leash on Begin and told him to back the fuck off of Lebanon. So, you're right. it wouldn't happen under Reagan because Reagan would actually show strength before it needed to get this far. I guess to a certain extent they are right. It shows a weakness in Biden, but not for the reason they're trying to say.
Yeah.
They're trying to show that Biden
Yeah,
is
I
weak
would
on
agree with
Iran,
that.
but
Yeah.
really Biden is weak on Israel, and that's all.
We knew this.
Well, he just hasn't had a good. The strength in that whole area hasn't been good for years, right? Either side.
Yeah, it's also the fact that at least Netanyahu is taking temperature, and realizing that first of all, the Knesset is getting squirrely, and they're looking at him like we aren't going through this shit again. Second of all, it's the fact that Iran's like literally we didn't expect anyone to react to that.
We just didn't think anybody would care.
Yeah, we just we threw a wild punch. We were drunk. I don't know.
It came to a point
Which
that
I was
it's
drunk is
really,
always a valid excuse.
it's really insane
Basically.
that Iran, which is a known state sponsor of terror, which is like a theocratic ethno state, a fundamentalist theocratic ethno state that is excruciatingly conservative and clamps down on its citizens and their freedoms like crazy. A state like that
It's
would
almost
have
like a mirror. It's almost like the Bizarro Israel. I said it. Now
but that they would
I
have
said
the
it. It's out
restraint.
there. Deal with it.
Yeah, but I think they've shown an enormous amount of restraint in their response to both our assassination of Soleimani 4 years ago, which that was a fun week, and then the bombing of their consulate. And I think it to a certain degree it shows that Iran still wants to be at the big kids table.
Yeah.
Well,
And
sure.
Yeah, I think
They
they let those drones off and then realized this is not the way you get to the big kids table, and they're like, "Bitch, I don't know what to do now." They're basically the big kid who kicked.
It's a rock and a hard place situation. They have to respond in some way because there are even more hardline conservative Iranians in their government who think something needs to be done about this. And Iran knows that if they launch something full scale, they're absolutely fucked.
That part.
They're doing the only thing they know how to do, which is to basically do a scaled response while telegraphing for 2 weeks beforehand, hey, we are going to respond to this. And still a couple of rockets got through despite our advanced forewarning, and despite the fact that we have the Iron Dome, United States Air Force. You've got
listen, I've learned at this point I don't take any of Israelis' military prowess seriously. I really don't. I what I'm saying is this. This is the same military that on one hand took out only one fourth floor apartment in a building to get one motherfucker. But yet, they're still raining down carpet bombs on Gaza like it's the goddamn 1940, like it's the goddamn Blitz. But yet, they have an AI program that decides, okay, I'm going to you need to take out this person. But you also need to take out these 14 other motherfuckers who are just in the area.
That's the
Bitch,
also
what?
just the reading about what their criteria was for what makes someone a likely target is insane. Like one of the criteria was change cell phones often. Like it just
listen, the only way some of these people are even being able to text motherfuckers is by changing eSIMs on the week. So this is just sounding like a fig leaf for
Dude, if he wants to deal with my cell phone for 3 weeks, be my freaking guest.
That part. Like, I'm sorry. I plan on keeping my cell phone till it falls apart because I'm not really in the mood to make some kid in the Congo suffer for my ass. Just me. Just me. Just me.
Lord knows the Congo has already suffered enough at the hands of the West.
That part.
Hand. Or I guess you could say hand because,
Yeah. And the fact that the Belgians made chocolate about that, man, fuck the Belgians and their chocolate. Yeah, I worked for Godiva, but still, fuck the Belgians and their chocolate.
Anytime I can throw in a Leopold II reference, I
Hey, I'm here for it.
You
Fuck
got to.
Leopold. The fact that we do not shit on Leopold II enough. We really don't. As a culture, you'd think.
Yeah.
Leopold? Man, fuck that motherfucker.
I think the reason, aside from it being a current issue, there's a reason I keep coming back to Gaza. There's a lot of other things, horrible things that are happening in the world. There, in Syria, in the Sudan,
Sure.
for example, just for example, the Uyghurs in China. Like there's
that part.
There's all sorts of examples of horrible things happening in the universe. But the key, I think, with Gaza is that the time I have mentioned, for example, the Sudanese civil war, in like conversation with someone, I wasn't told I was being racist. The time I mentioned this, the times I've mentioned the Syrian civil war, and specifically a lot of propaganda about it, like people like Tulsi Gabbard who chum up to Assad and shit like that. The times I've mentioned that, I'm not told when I talk about that, if you were in Syria, they'd rape you and throw you off roofs. But what keeps happening when one talks about Gaza
Note to
is,
self, don't go there.
Especially if you're queer.
But that's kind of like what keeps happening when you talk about Gaza to any extent. You've all heard like the things I've said. Like there is no amount of, you get accused of being pro Hamas. You've heard what I've said about Hamas on the show. I'm not going to have to keep repeating myself about it.
Yeah.
But I've been called an anti-Semite. I've been called pro Hamas. I have been told, I'd be thrown off a roof if I were in Gaza. It's just the kind of thing, like, I have a kind of oppositional defiance. And I think to a certain extent, if I say obvious things that are obvious, like, yo, what's happening in Gaza is really fucking horrible, and I get pushback on that, I'm going to attend to it more, and I'm going to keep talking about it, and I'm going to get louder about it the more pushback I get, because fuck you. Like, that's kind of it. Like,
I don't know if
I'm here for it.
I've been lucky. I've been lucky. I haven't, but most of the time it's because usually I started off with, I don't know what the Israeli state is doing, but that isn't Hamas. Do they have, like, I need somebody from the IDF or somebody to jump on a live and show me with no jump cuts, no SFX, how that tunnel leads to that hospital, and show me evidence that Hamas is there. Because what was the reason? What was the reason? I turned into Cardi B. What was the reason?
There's already been enough instances where things that they have said with a straight face have turned out to be fundamentally false through forensic investigations. That I don't trust a word that the IDF that comes out of their mouth.
Yeah, and I've basically said at this point, one of the biggest things that as a Christian, as somebody who, let's be honest, I wanted to go, like, let's be honest, because I didn't know any better. I was like, I used to think I wanted to suck the dick of an IDF officer before I died. Now, no, not at all. You couldn't pay me.
There's that one
There's
comedian.
Not enough money in the world.
There's that one comedian. I can't remember his name, but he does this sort of like, it's this something Spalding. It's this gay comedian who has this straw man, quote, purple-haired girl that he makes fun of for, being pro-Palestinian, attributes all of the pro-Palestinian sentiment to anti-Semitism. But, like, what he did, like, a 15 to 30-second rant about how he wanted nothing more than IDF cock and to swim in their jizz like it's the Dead Sea. It was like 30 seconds. It was a 30-second TikTok of that. 30 seconds where he talked about IDF cock. Right? It's a little much.
Even at my most, listen, you've known me for how long? Even at my most, exactly. Even at my most military knob slobbery, 30. I don't think, was I ever that bad?
No.
Okay.
It was limited
That's
to
all.
just man in uniform, type stuff,
Jesus Christ. A whole 30.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's like a hyphenated first name and the last name is Spalding. I can't remember. But either way, it was embarrassing. You keep that shit to 5 seconds tops. But like,
Yeah. Like, bro,
I just,
I mean, the most I'd make a joke about is Grinder and like a throwaway sentence about Grinder, because Lord knows I've seen enough people.
well, the thing is, like, with this latest thing, when I talk about Israel, deliberately targeting and bombing an Iranian consulate, the accusations came that I am pro Ayatollah, seriously.
What?
And I just think it's just like, we can talk about real things happening in the real world and how it's important for states to act responsibly and that the actions of a state affect the citizens. And the
Of
one
course.
thing that really
that's
pisses me
fair.
off about being called anti-Semitic is that Israel's actions are going to endanger Israelis. That's the whole
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
of goading Iran to bomb them and to respond puts the lives of Israelis in danger. That's the thing. When people talk about don't you think Israel has a right to exist? I'm like, I think Israelis have a right to
Have the
exist.
right to
I think
exist.
Israelis have a right to be safe. I think the same of Palestinians. And
Yes.
they're not safe when their state is acting
That
irrationally, genocidally.
basic. Yeah, it's no. I'm gonna say something. I will blame it on the alcohol later, but it's no different than that weird period 2002 3 where we had a president that was more than willing to go to a country that we thought was going to be a problem. And people were like, wait, shouldn't you think about your own safety when you do this? Because nobody else in the world is really supporting you on this one.
And, well, they were either with us or against us.
Oh, ouch.
I mean,
Ouch.
that's the thing. The Likud has cultivated a perpetual state of post 9/11
That
psychosis.
is true. That is true.
So-
The Likud party has mastered the optics. They have played the Knesset. They have played huge swaths of the Israeli people. But I would have to say, in a dark way, luckily, Netanyahu's corruption is going to hurt them.
Yeah. I don't blame anybody for being propagandized. I was propagandized.
Same was I.
I supported the Iraq invasion in 2003, and hindsight absolutely is 2020. I don't make full judgments of people who are so heavily propagandized. I think to a certain extent, I made an exception for that for Donald J. Trump because it's not like his rhetoric was like too long to go into it, but it's not like it's not like a boiling frog situation. He came out of the gate saying the craziest shit in the universe that everyone should have been like,
from day zero, he was like that. He came in hot.
And like now he was acclimated to it. Now people have been propagandized by it, but when he came out, it started like that. So
yeah, he was always like this. He was like this from the middle of Obama's first term.
Yeah, I guess I think the point is that I want Jews, I want Arabs, and I want everyone to be safe. And I don't think the actions of an irrational state are going to help. I don't think that trying to trigger
that's an unreasonable statement.
Don't make anybody safe, least of all Israelis. And I just wish that it stops here. There's no response. Iran isn't goaded any further. I have absolutely no love for a fascist theocratic state that oppresses its people like Iran. But when I say we shouldn't attack Iran, it's because I actually give a shit about the human being suffer from this.
Well, yeah.
And if we get dragged into a regional war
Yet again,
the Israeli government,
We've seen how that movie ends.
yeah, I'm tired. We don't need another one of those this generation.
Yeah.
We are tired.
yeah,
We have
millennials,
zero.
millennials and exennials.
Millennials and the Zennials are tired.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'm going to call it a night and say that this just in: David Zaslav's still alive.
God
Good night,
damn it!
everybody.
Night.
Night.
Oh my god.